Morphology. The evolution of form within the built environment. The term morphology is Greek and is made up of morph, meaning shape, form, and ology, which means the study of something. This concept describes changes in the form and syntax of buildings and cities as their relationship to people evolves and changes. Chapter 2, a brief history. Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II, also known as Piazza Vittorio, is a square in Rome, located in the Esquilino district. It is the largest square in Rome at 60,000 meters square. It was built starting from 1880 and finished a few years later, like the whole neighborhood that surrounds it. Surrounded by buildings with large 19th century porticos, the square was built according to the provisions of the 1873 master plan in the new district of the city shortly after the transfer of the Italian capital from Florence to Rome, 1871. Victor Emanuele II, after whom the piazza is named, was King of Sardinia from 1849 until 17 March 1861, when he assumed the title of King of Italy and became the first king of an independent united Italy since the 6th century, a title he held until his death in 1878. Chapter 3, Thesis. The shifting ideal of Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II, as seen through its evolving form, function, and cultural significance, offers a lens into the dynamic, ever-changing character of the urban fabric and the shifting aspirations of society. Here we define piazza as a public square or void in the urban fabric. The urban fabric is described as the physical aspect of urbanism, emphasizing building types, thoroughfares, open space, frontages, and streetscapes, but excluding environmental, functional, economic, and social-cultural aspects.
Chapter 4. Analysis through morphological terms. To better understand the piazza, we will start in the chronological order in which we discovered it. The present conditions will be analyzed, which will eventually lead us to its change in form through time. The Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II is a masterful work of urban design, expertly crafted to convey a sense of grandeur and importance. At its heart lies a green space area, separated from the surrounding city by a fence and a line of trees, creating an impression of magnificent centerpiece in the urban fabric. The thresholds of the park, including the gates and changes in elevation, create different experiences within the space, celebrating the past, present, and future. Paths also serve as thresholds, radically separating the space and leading to a central circle, with several different paths stemming from it. This center is a large circle broken down into two semicircles, and it serves as a focal point for the surrounding areas. Outside of the park, the facades of the building follow a specific datum, with repeating columns and arches, creating a sense of unity among separate entities. The layout of the piazza becomes a datum of circles, semicircles, and winding paths. Each space with the park has its own focus, including the center of the piazza, the fountain, and the ancient ruins. The park's use vary, ranging from historical sites, gardens, playgrounds, and recreational areas to cafes. The time gradient of the park's uses is also evident, with newer additions like the cafe and recreational areas situated at one end, the war memorial in the middle, and ancient Roman ruins at the other end. The park's formal design emphasizes the separation of the different areas, with paths and different ground plane materials marking their boundaries. However, the most striking aspect of the Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II is a juxtaposition between the green space and the surrounding urban fabric. This island of green space within the piazza emphasizes its uniqueness and sets it apart from other Roman piazzas. The edge of the fence formed around the green space further emphasizes its separation, while still being an integral part of the piazza. Overall, the Piazza Vittorio Emanuele is a work of urban design that expertly blends the elements of the past, present, and future. Its formal layout emphasizes the separation of different areas, while still creating a sense of unity. And the juxtaposition between the green space and the urban fabric sets it apart from other piazzas in Rome. It is a true masterpiece of urban design, worthy of its status as a cultural and historical landmark.
Chapter 5. Ideal Plan. This idea of urban development was an ambitious plan to create infrastructure that would lead the leading class to adopt Rome as the capital of Italy. This area was previously a low-populated zone that consisted of noble houses and agriculture. Carlo Tenerari conceived the idea and called it the gem of landscape architecture. The concept was a series of paved roads that create islands of vegetation. The setting up of Rome as the capital meant demonstrating prowess and powers of the location, What better way to do it than through extremely precise and formal acts of the built environment, which takes from historical Roman/Italian architectural features. Surrounded by buildings with large 19th century porticos, the square was built according to the provisions of the 1873 master plan and in the new district of the city shortly after the transfer of the Italian capital from Florence to Rome. The surrounding porticos acts as a datum element. This repetition allows the enveloping buildings to interact visually with the piazza. The uniform facades, which wrap around the piazza, truly emphasizes the formality of the space and flaunts the piazza as the anchor of its neighborhood and Roman urban fabric. To further enhance its importance, one can feel the strong visual and circulation properties, as the piazza is located within a strong linear axis between the Basilica di Santa Croce in Jerusalem and Basilica Papale di Santa Maria Maggiore, two basilicas which act to celebrate the power of Catholicism within the Italian state, an ode to the building blocks of Italian identity. Being part of the circulation path feeds into the psyche of churchgoers adhering to the status quo of the populace. This reinforces its presence within the axis, a void in the urban fabric which ties times and space. Within its ideal, we sense a great thought process, which aims to convey power and strength.
Chapter 6, Vernacular and Anchor of Urban Fabric. Garden. The transformation of Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II on 8th of July, 1888 was a highly anticipated event, long awaited by the inhabitants of the new neighborhood being formed on the Esquiline Hills. The piazza had been a site of unsustainable degradation, with completed porticoed buildings and almost all buildings inhabited. But with the official inauguration of the Piazza's garden project, a breath of fresh air was injected into the community. It captures the spirit of a capital that has seen patches of it and, in the end, never breaks down. The garden project drew its inspiration from the lost Esquiline villas, which were transmuted into the urban green model of the new bourgeois and popular city. However, this ideal vision was met with a battle between ideal and vernacular use, as the plan of reminiscing on traditional elite class elements switched into heterogeneous public use. The space was reimagined by its stakeholders, not its set target market, resulting in a unique and vibrant public space. The project transformed the piazza into a fresh green and flowery garden, with plants of all kinds, flower beds, trees, and flowers. The result was a space that was not only visually stunning, but also highly functional, providing a much-needed oasis in the heart of the city. The piazza's transformation was a triumph of urban design, effectively addressing the unsustainable degradation of the space and bringing it to life. The piazza's garden project was a nod to the traditional elite class elements, but its reinterpretation for public use reflected the evolving needs and desires of the community. This transformation was not only aesthetically pleasing, but also served as a symbol of progress, reflecting the changing values and priorities of the times. Overall, the transformation of Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II was a turning point in the development of the surrounding neighborhood. The garden project breathed new life into a previously neglected space, and its reinterpretation for public use served as a reflection of the community's changing needs and values. It was a triumph of urban design, worthy of recognition for its contribution to the city's cultural and historical landscape. Through a deep analysis of circulation at an urban scale, the charismatic quality of Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II becomes evident. Situated at the center of a triangle, the northern piazza boasts a major roundabout that allows passage to Rome Termini, which serves as the entry and exit point for anyone visiting or leaving the city. The strategic location of the piazza also ensures easy access through 4 direct buses. Moving on to the second circle on the right, we find Piazza di Porta Maggiore, one of the eastern gates in the ancient but well-preserved 3rd century Aurelian walls of Rome. This creates a sense of historical continuity, with the piazza being a significant marker of Rome's past and present. The last circle at the bottom, Piazza Giovanni Paolo II, is home to the Lateran obelisk, the largest standing ancient Egyptian obelisk in the world, and the tallest obelisk in Italy. With these 3 points in the middle, the centrality of Piazza Vittorio is emphasized once again, positioning it as an anchor of Rome. It is fascinating to note that the ideal space has become a greater hub due to its vernacular properties. The piazza's location at the center of these major circulation points is a testament to its significance as a place of convergence, and the added elements of the space, such as the beautiful greenery and the historical landmarks, make it all the more appealing. This convergence of ideal and vernacular planning has has had a lasting impact, influencing future urban design practices. The centrality of the piazza and its strategic location at the crossroads of major transit points makes it a significant marker of Rome's past and present. The juxtaposition of ideal and vernacular planning adds to the appeal of the space, making it a popular hub for both locals and tourists alike. Macro anchor. Its strategic location, paralleling the Roma Termini, has given it a significance that has only grown over time. The establishment of Roma Termini as a major transportation hub in the late 1800s was a turning point for the city's development. With Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II set up parallel to the terminus, it signaled a continuation in following the ideal, making it an essential landmark for travelers and locals alike. As a result, Piazza Vittorio took on a greater importance, not just as a simple anchor for Rome's urban fabric, but as a reference point for Greater Italy. Over time, the piazza's demographic makeup has shifted and diversified, welcoming people from all over the world. This multi-ethnic composition has led to an explosion of activities within the space, breaking the thresholds of Italian borders and transforming Piazza Vittorio into an international hub. As such, the significance of Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II has transcended its original purpose and has become an emblematic landmark, representative of ancient Rome's cosmopolitan identity. Its strategic location, architectural design, and evolving demographic makeup have made it an essential place for not only the city but also the country and the world at large. Piazza Vittorio's international character highlights the power of public spaces to bring people together and create a shared experience that goes beyond borders and boundaries. At the beginning of the 20th century, with the location of the market initially outside the garden, then inside with fixed stalls, a process of slow deterioration began, which worsened in the 1970s. These stalls created spaces that would create a strong edge quality separating the interior of the park and the exterior built environment, promoting subversive behavior which would eventually spread out to the surrounding porticos where illicit activities were and are still being conducted. Having been referenced in a 1948 film, Bicycle Thieves proves that the vernacular quality of the piazza has an important role in shaping its identity. The piazza's connotation has transcended its ideal character and morphed it into the users and the uses of the piazza. This radical shift in idea links back to the offbeat qualities of the piazza. It lends itself to a dichotomy within the original goal of boasting Italian ideals to one that is wholly defined by the community's use.
In conclusion, the shifting ideal of Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II offers a fascinating insight into the evolving urban fabric of Rome and the changing aspiration of its society. The piazza's form, function, and cultural significance have transformed over time, reflecting the shifting priorities and values of the stakeholder. From its original conception as a symbol of national unity and pride, to its gradual decline and eventual revitalization as a vibrant, multi-ethnic hub of activity, the story of Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II is a microcosm of the wider changes that have swept through Rome and Italy as a whole. As a result, studying the piazza can provide valuable insights into the ways in which the urban spaces are shaped by historical, cultural, and social forces, and how they, in turn, shape the societies that inhabited them. A space is only as significant as the occupants which define it.